Today we're talking audio in Unity. I'm back developing my 3D meditation app, and I need to now start getting some assets, some audio assets that I can use in my island environment. So this video will be all about obtaining those assets, importing them, placing them in the environment and making sure they sound great while not degrading the CPU performance too much. The first sound I need is that of the ocean where waves are softly breaking on the beach, something that goes along with this scene over here. Maybe the water hitting these rocks a little bit, just something very relaxing. This is for a meditation app, so I don't want anything that's too loud or too busy. So let's go looking for that. There are usually many websites that pop up through the year for royalty-free sounds. And I found this one called Zapsplat. It offers some royalty-free sounds. I don't mind paying for sounds, especially if it's really high quality, but if it's royalty-free, that's even better. In this case, there's a standard Zapsplat license, and I just have to give credit on inside my video if I use their sounds. So I just start browsing and trying to find sounds that sound really good. So here, small, calm, gentle ocean waves lap onto sand, secluded tropical beach. That could work. It's good to listen to the entire sound. In this case, it's 2 minutes and 15 seconds, which is great. That way I don't have to, loop it every 10 seconds or so, and people can usually hear it when you stitch it together. So 2 minutes is a good length, but just listen to the sound in its entirety to make sure there's no weird sounds in there, human voices, things like that. Okay, I listened to the sound in its entirety, and everything sounds good, so I definitely want this. There are two options, MP3 and the WAV format. Oh, actually, I can't get the WAV format because I'm not a gold member. So actually, let me see if I want to upgrade to the gold membership. So in general, in Unity, there's a trade-off. If you use the MP3 sound, it uses less memory, but it uses more CPU power because it's a compressed format, and when you uncompress it, it uses more CPU. WAV will require more memory usage but less CPU usage because it's not compressed. So I signed up for a basic account on Zapsplat, and I'm going to upgrade to a gold membership to support these guys and just to get the WAV files, the higher quality. Pay close attention to the fine print of the license agreements. In this case, any effects or music tracks downloaded with the gold account upgrade period can be used attribution credit free. This attribution removal stays with the sounds for life and can be used in unlimited works even if the user account is downgraded to basic account after donation subscription cancellation. So that's pretty cool. Yes, I'm going to do that. Yay! I got my WAV format available now. So in general, I would download both formats. I might end up using the MP3. I might be using the WAV. It all depends on performance and quality. So let me download it. So you can see the huge difference in size between the WAV file and the MP3 file. The MP3 is much smaller because of the compression methods involved, but that also strips it of some frequencies. Most people will not notice the difference in frequencies, but if you're an audiophile, then the WAV file will just sound much better. So I'll have to play with it and see, which is the best one I want to use, especially when I'm playing it through Unity in an app or a game. So let's import it. After I've downloaded the sounds, I'm then gonna just cut and paste them into my assets folder in my project. So let's get to my project file. It is called meditation. and I go into the assets folder, and I'm just going to create a new folder for my sounds. And call that audio. And paste those sounds into there. If we now go back into our project, we'll see that the audio folder we created shows up, and within it the two files, the MP3 and the WAV file, are available. Now let's get into the audio settings in the inspector. I recommend that you exclusively use WAV files in your projects and just apply the different compression formats. That way you always have the higher fidelity file that you can move towards. Maybe you started out with a mobile app and you just wanted it on maybe just as an MP3 file, but then later on you might deploy the game to PC and you want to go to a higher, better standard, and you might choose PCM. Here we are in the audio settings for that specific file. In this case, it's a WAV file, a bigger, larger WAV file. And the reason I chose that is so that you can see more clearly the compression ratios applied. And that will be the PCM, Vorbis, AD, PCM, and actually also MP3. The only way you can see the MP3 is if you go into a specific platform tab like the Android, and you click on override, apply, and now you can also see MP3 as an option. That actually only shows up for iOS and Android. So let's look at the different compression ratios. So we start with PCM. The original size of this file is 40 megs, and the imported size as it will be deployed to this Android device would be 26 megabytes. That's a 66% compression. Let's go to Vorbis. That takes it down to 4.9 megabytes. 80 PCM, 7.4 megabytes, and MP3, 2.7 megabytes. Let's talk a little about the different type of load types. We have decompress on load, compressed in memory, and streaming. Decompress on load, that requires higher performance overhead when the audio files are loaded. In general, this is better for smaller files. Compressed in memory keeps your sounds compressed in memory and decompress them while they are playing. There's a slight performance overhead, but it's better for larger files. Streaming will decode the sounds on the fly. Minimal amount of memory is used to read the data incrementally from the disk on a separate streaming thread. There is, however, always an approximate overhead of 200 kilobytes when using streaming. Okay, I think we're ready to start adding some beautiful sounds to the scene. The first thing you need to do is to click on your camera and make sure you have an audio listener. We don't, so I'm going to click on Add, type audio listener. There it is. We click on it. It's been added. Nice. Next thing is we need an audio source. So right click in the hierarchy view and go to audio source. Let's stay organized. So we want to rename this to audio source Ocean. We have to add the audio file to this audio source Ocean. So in this case, I want to use the Ocean 2 WAV file. So you just click on it and drag it into audio source Ocean. Then if you click on it, you can see the audio clip has been selected. You can also click on the selection and double click on it. Now if we Click play. We should hear it. Cool. Now I want to start playing around with the audio source settings. So the first thing I'm going to do is just remove my animator for my camera. So I just uncheck that over there. And that way the camera will not be moving anymore. It's standing still. Then I'm going to go to scene. Click on the y-axis so I get the top level. And I'm going to check out where the ocean source is. It's over here. Click on the camera. I'm going to move it. And as I'm moving it, I'm going to listen to the audio. So there's no effect actually right now. The sound is not getting softer as I'm moving the player away from the source. And that's what I really want. It has to be realistic. So what am I going to do? I'm going to go back to the audio source ocean, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that the spatial blend is set all the way to 1. That basically means I'm setting it to 3D. And the max distance, I'm going to set it to 40 for now. And as you're changing these parameters, you'll see this curve changing and the upper and the lower limits. Let me save this and we play it again. Go to scene. Let's move the camera. You see how it gets softer? There'll always be a little sound lift based on the actual audio settings. Let me just right click on the audio source and click on properties so we can pop that out. We can see that better. So the minimum is not going to 0. So there'll always be a sound. This is a logarithmical roll-off. There'll always be a minimum sound available. If we drag this down to 0, it's gone. Okay, so this graph is really a cool way to play around with the sounds. What I'm trying to simulate is the sound of an ocean when you're on an island. So an island is round and the sound should be coming from 360 degrees all around you. Right now we only have this one audio source, and one way we could do it is make maybe 4 copies and put them at 4 corners around the island to simulate that, but that will result in more CPU usage and possibly more memory, and I don't want that. There's another way we could do it, is we could move the audio source for the ocean to the middle of the island, and then we can play around with the graph to make it so that the sound will diminish as you move closer to this sound source. So to do this, we're going to select the camera and we're going to click play. And while this is playing, we're going to move that camera to the middle. So right now it's louder because it's right on the sound source, and the sound source has got a logarithmic fall-offs. You can see here on the graph for that audio source, as we move the camera is this red line. We can kind of see the volume. So as we move it away, it's going towards 0. And as we move it closer, it goes higher. So the red line is the listener, and the graph over there is the various volume levels. So we want it to be quiet when the listener or the camera is close to it, and we want it to become louder as it moves away in different directions. To do that, we're gonna change the volume roll-off from rhythmic to custom. And then we're going to drag this graph so that when you're close, it's very soft, and as you move away, it's going to get louder. Alright, so as I move away, you hear it getting louder. As I get closer, it's softer. This is in all directions. Cool, that worked. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned a little bit. If you liked the video, please give it a like, subscribe, turn on that bell for notifications, and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.